Gu'Tanoth is the ogre city found in the northern Feldip Hills near Yanille. Its position is fortified by the mountainous terrain and the bridges over pools of lava guarded by the powerful ogres of the city. As the humans of Kandarin spread out, expanding their kingdom, they came into conflict with the ogres of Gu'Tanoth, who took up arms against their expansion. The wizards of Yanille developed magical technology that kept the ogres away while calling in forces to further protect their new cities. Though they are strong, the ogres were unable to combat this. Though not confirmed to be the ogres from Gu'Tanoth, King Lathas's training camp to the north of Ardoin uses caged ogres as training subjects for his army. Though Gu'Tanoth is the centralized ogre city, with the nearby Jigig being their traditional burial grounds, the ogres that inhabit the area are seemingly not organized under a central authority like the humans in their cities. Many separate ogres claim the title of chieftain, such as Gorad, Og, Tobin, and Gru, all of which Citizenscape interacted with during the Watchtower quest. Others also claim the title, so it is unknown how ogre society operates. The strong magic users of the ogre tribes are the shamans. They are powerful and can be found within the ogre enclave, where they fight off the blue dragons found there too. Within the middle of the enclave lies the rock of Dalgroth. Its importance is unknown to outsiders, but it is named after a mighty warrior of the ogres named Dalgroth, who may have once been an authority figure or a heroic champion. His relic was enough for Citizenscape to prove himself a friend to the ogres. Citizenscape has made some progress towards becoming a citizen of Gu'Tanoth already, proving himself a friend of the ogres by claiming the relic of Dalgroth last time. We're going to increase our reputation among the ogres today by completing the Big Chompy Bird Hunting quest for Rance. Our only achievement today is to claim any of the Big Chompy Bird hats from Rance following the Big Chompy Bird Hunting quest. For combat tasks today, we're going to have to take out 30 chompy birds after the quest to claim the Ogre Bowman hat. For skill tasks, we're going to need to increase our range level to 30 prior to starting the quest to qualify for the quest requirements. We'll also need to chop, burn and fletch willow trees requiring 30 woodcutting, firemaking and fletching. We'll be starting some hunter tasks today as we move into the Feldip Hills, requiring us to catch Crimson Swift, Feldip Weasel and Tropical Wagtail. We'll also need to increase our hunter level to 19 for all of these. Finally are our miscellaneous tasks. We can make purchases from 2 of the ogre traders in Gu'Tanoth. We will need to make a purchase from Dow's General Ogre Supplies store and Groot's Herblore store. With all that in store for today, let's begin. We're starting out today walking towards Gu'Tanoth. We're bringing some money with us since we know that the ogres use coins after they charged us to jump across a bridge last time. While we've already done a lot in the city, we're also going to spend some time around it today. Heading into the marketplace, we're still unable to buy a rock cake. I guess that's not going to happen. We can, however, make purchases at Dow's General Ogre Supplies, buying a pack of jugs as well as a pack of water-filled vials from Groot's Herblore store. After our time here previously, we're allowed to enter the Ogre Enclave without a problem. It's still scary in here with blue dragons and greater demons. I wonder if we can take anything here out with some ranged attacks. On the ground within the cave we find a shaman robe. It's too big for us to wear, so there's no point taking it with us. We'll leave it here for now. Let's get out of here. Returning to Yanille, we bank our goods and make our way west of Gu'Tanoth. Around the mountains we find a camp of ogres with some looking injured. There's a barricade set up here too, with undead ogres beyond it. The ogre that guards the place tells us that we need to keep away. There's a spread of sickness, we might die if we catch it. The injured ogres don't look like they're doing very well either. Talking to the chief, they tell us that Jigig is a burial place for ogres and that their dead have come back and started to dance. They've been passing on sickness to the living ogres here too. After offering to help, we're told that we would be no good to them. Well, we tried. Just a little way south of here is a sign telling us not to mess with the ogre coffins unless we want our head bashed in. Best we leave them alone. Checking out west of Jigig, we head towards a man who sounds sick with a cough. He tells us that he's fine and that he's used to the smoke. There's a dungeon nearby which he tells us is too dangerous without any protection. We're just gonna have a quick look, how bad can it be? It's real hard to see in here with all the smoke. Despite that, we do spot some creatures floating around though. Before long we suffer the effects of the smoke, taking a substantial amount of damage. Time to go. There's a little swamp here with toads jumping around it, that's fun. Some nearby ogres tell us that they're hunting for chompies for some hats, and that we best not take their hunting spot. Noted. Continuing along, we find a new type of tree which we've never seen before. This is a teak tree, which is beyond our level requirement to cut, but within the level range we have. We might come back to this. We've reached the coastline and see how far the ogre lands spread to the west. Let's follow the river back to Jigig. We've seen a little of the area to the south of Gu'Tanoth before, but we're going to do a wider look today. There are angry ogres and aggressive wolves here that don't take to us kindly. A little further in we find a gnome who's made a runway for his glider. We ask if we can help with anything, but he says it's all far too technical for someone like us. What's that supposed to mean? Continuing east, there are a lot more ogres and wolves throughout the mountains. Running by them we find a nice patch of willow trees with cabbage, potato and equa leaves growing here. We've never seen equa leaves before, but they're good for a little healing. Further down the coast we find a beach and some wild animals. This must be the hunter area that we were told about back in Yanille. We search around the area for a bit, finding all the many creatures within it, including a wolf pack with a particularly large wolf. We find a rocky hill that we think we might be able to climb, but apparently we're not worthy enough to do so. I don't know who these rocks think they are, telling us that. We find a person kitted out in hunter gear guarding a cave. They tell us that all manner of creatures are found in the cave, but that we're not worthy enough to enter there yet. Big hit to the ego today, but at least it's a person telling us this time, not rocks. Before long we find a cabin with a hunter expert in it. They tell us a little bit about some different creatures and how we can go about catching them, as well as a fellow hunter named Nicholas that works in the Ardoin Zoo but hunts in Piscatoris. For today we're looking to catch Crimson Swifts, Feldip Weasel and Tropical Wagtail, which means getting Hunter up to level 19. We can't hunt without our gear however, so we make our way back to Yanille. While in Yanille we grab an axe, tinderbox and a knife also. With those we can return to the willow trees to cut, burn and fletch them. We're also going to cut the teak tree, though it's not one of our tier goals for today. Though we have the level to cut it, we can't burn or fletch it just yet. With our current hunter level we can set up one trap at a time. We've been told that Crimson Swift are super easy to catch, so we're going to start there. We have a bit of experience already from our time in the Varrock Museum, but now we're turning knowledge into practice. In reality it seems to be harder than we thought. The birds keep flying over to the trap, but only to knock it over without being caught by it. We need to keep trying. Eventually we manage to catch a bird, getting some bones, feathers and meat from the bird. We can fletch the feathers with the arrow shafts we made for some fletching experience. This gives us an idea. While we catch more birds, we're also going to cut some of the nearby dead trees for logs, which we can fletch into more arrow shafts. This way we're making use of the feathers we get. After a few more successful catches we get level 10 Hunter as well as level 31 Fletching and soon after level 32 Prayer. Nice. With level 11 Hunter we're starting to fill up our inventory. We try to start a fire and cook the bird meat, but it can't be done without a spit roast. We have the smithing level to make iron spits, so we might have to do that. Getting level 12 Hunter we've run out of inventory space, so we head back to Yanille to bank some of our gear. Making spits out of the iron bars that we have left, we attempt to cook the birds, though we have to do this over a fire, not on a range. Cooking them over near Jigig, we get a cooking level. We attempt to offer the meat to the injured ogres. Food always heals us up. They're not interested however. Well, we tried. It's time to hunt a new type of creature. We've learned about the Feldip Weasel, which live in burrows to the south. Investigating the burrow we find tracks, which we can follow, checking bushes and plants for evidence of the weasel. Eventually we find something moving in the bush. Using our noose wand we catch it. This gives us both fur and meat, as well as bones. Let's keep doing this for a bit. This method fills up our inventory pretty fast, with both the fur and the meat. We use our new Ardoin cloak to teleport back to the monastery, which is quicker to get to a bank than running back. We can cook the weasel on a spit too. We know of a clothing merchant in Varrock who can work with furs to make clothing, so we teleport there and give them a visit, making use of the weasel fur for some jungle camouflage clothing. So far we've found the Crimson Swifts to be more useful for their feathers, so we head back to them for a few more hunter levels. Once our inventory gets filled with bird meat, we teleport again to the monastery and sell it for a bit of profit at the Port Kazar general store. Now that we have 19 hunter, our goal here today, we can make our way to the tropical wagtails and set up a trap to catch one, getting some different feathers from it. I think that's enough hunter for today. At a cave near the coast we find an ogre named Rance. While it's very hard to understand him, he wants us to make him special arrows for his bow so that he can catch chompy birds, his favourite meal. Agreeing to help, he tells us that we need to make the arrows out of ahi trees and dog bones. The only dog-like creatures near here are the wolves, so we hope those will do. We're still not looking to murder puppies. If we're going to need wolf bones, we may as well try to take them out with ranged given all the new headless arrows we have. Making a large number of steel arrows and even smithing some more arrow tips, we head out with more than 440 arrows and some food geared up for range. The wolves are hitting pretty hard and our food isn't really helping too much, though we do get a hit points level. Moving behind the trees, we eventually take out a wolf and grab its bones. We need to chop an ahi tree and then use a knife and chisel to make the shafts and arrowheads. We only have enough arrowheads for 4 ogre arrows. I wonder if that's enough. Nope, we need 6. Chopping more ahi trees and fighting more wolves, we get level 25 and 26 ranged and a wolf bone that might be of interest to the man in Silveria. With all these extra arrows, we hope this is enough. Giving the 6 arrows to Rance, he tells us that we need fatsy toadies to lure in chompy birds. Apparently the trick is to inflate swamp toads with swamp gas and leave them on a spot to lure out the chompy birds. We'll need to talk to Rance's kids to get the bellows. It sounds like the bellows have been locked away in the chest here. Lifting the rock off of it, we grab the bellows and head to the swamp to collect up some swamp gas and then some toads. Showing them to Rance, he approves. He tells us to place them a little bit further away and then sneak back to wait for the chompy birds. When a bird does come, we alert Rance, who takes a shot, missing it. He blames the arrows and not his poor archery skills. We ask to have a go and Rance hands us a giant bow. There's no way we're practiced enough to use this. We're going to have to train up. We're going to head into the ogre enclave and try to take out a blue dragon. We know that the ogres will give us some respect if we manage to do that. We manage to get the dragon into a good position and start to fight it. It's really slow though and we're struggling to deal damage to it. Since we begin to run out of arrows, we try to retrieve them, taking damage in the process. Eventually we realise that this simply isn't going to work. We're going to run out of arrows at this rate. Giving up on that for now, we head back to the wolves. We're getting pretty close to running out of arrows and don't have enough left to take out a full wolf, so we make our way back to the Ardoin training camp where we purchased arrow tips in the past. We buy a bunch, then fletch them into more arrows. Returning to the wolves, we get level 30 ranged. Now we have a bunch of wolf bone arrow tips, and we can use the ogre bow too. While cutting down an ahi tree to make some more ogre arrows, we find a bird's nest with a clue scroll in it. Neat. We'll get back to this. Putting a toad down, we wait for a chompy bird to arrive, but it never does. Putting another down, we eventually have a chompy bird arrive, and we take it out with a new ogre bow and arrows. Plucking the chompy bird, we get the meat and go to give it to Rance. Apparently this isn't good enough. He wants it cooked in a special way and we need to be the one to do it. His children also have special requirements, so we ask, finding out that we need potato, tomato and equa leaves. Good thing we know where all of these can be found. After only picking up potato seeds, we can collect aqua leaves and then later a potato before grabbing a tomato off of a stall at a nearby aggressive ogre camp. Cooking it to perfection, we return it to Rance with the chompy. Rance tells us about some special ogre hats that we can claim from him if we take enough chompy birds. These hats will show ogres how good of a marksman we are with an ogre bow. Let's at least get one. We're going to need 30 chompy kills for the first hat, meaning we need to get more frogs. Rance doesn't like us using his area, but we know a good spot. Making sure to avoid the area of the ogre that threatened us, we start to place down toads and hunt chompies. By putting down multiple toads at once, we can lure out more than one chompy at a time. The process is slow, especially with how slow the bow is, but eventually we get level 31 ranged, and soon enough we only need one more kill. Killing the final chompy bird, we've earned the title of Ogre Bowman. The chompy can be cooked at the fire in Jagig. We make use of this and try to feed the injured ogres once again, but they're not interested. Oh well. We get to Rance and ask about hats. He checks our bow and then gives us the Ogre Bowman hat. That's gotta be worth at least a little bit of influence in Gu'Tanoth. We're not done yet though. Now that we've got some more ranged experience, we can wield both the Ogre bow and now a maple short bow. With all the arrows we have, we return to the Ogre Enclave. The Ogre bow is strong but slow. The ogre arrows are harder to make than regular ones though, so once we shoot these, we switch to the maple shortbow. After a bit of time, we're doing well. We've done more damage to the dragon than last time. Before long, we've got it down real low, and then soon after, take out the dragon. Our first dragon kill. We collect up the arrows, the dragon hide, and bones. We'll hold on to these in case we need them. Our clue scroll calls for us to use the strange device Reldo gave us to hunt down the location of a casket with hot and cold feelings. The device is freezing to the touch, perhaps it'll be better near to Reldo. Teleporting to Lumbridge, we check it to find it to be far more responsive. Let's grab a spade. Searching around a bit more, we eventually find a spot in a cow pen where it's burning up. Digging, we find another clue. This one is an anagram. Rain Cove. The only name we can make out of that is Veronica. She's not far away. Walking to Veronica near Draenor Manor, she congratulates us and hands us another clue. A map. We've seen this area before, it's just over the river near the Champions Guild. Digging there, we find a casket. The loot is nothing special though, just a single steel full helm. Oh well, a bit of value I suppose. We've gained a bit of influence in Gu'Tanoth today. Taking out a dragon and claiming some ogre hats has certainly given our reputation a boost. Helping Rance and his kids has made a good influence also. We've come to respect the ogres and their methods, including hunting, but it's time we moved on. Long ago we were invited to visit the gnomes, and we've heard rumours that they can be found in a hedge maze near the Khazard lands. Please join me next time as we seek out the Tree Gnome Village. If you'd like a chance to voice a character in the series, subscribe and join the Discord. Links in the description below.